So I said that I would talk more about my bubble, my American politics bubble. And sorry, I feel it feels like it's becoming scarier each day. And the reason for that, as I understand it, is if you look at narcissistic personality disorder, is that the more scared, the more frightened, the more I can't think of another word that the narcissist gets, the more what's the word? I'm going to have to pause you a minute. Easy word, really. The more threatened. I probably already said that. The harder they push back, and they become more and more threatening, threatening harm to other people. It's sort of like a narcissistic rage. It's out of control, and it's very frightening, and I'm feeling flattened by that. And that just might be me, but it's important to know, or to think about how you're feeling in the face of what you're facing. Now, I'm not facing it in the way that you are in America, I know that, but it does impact on me, and it impacts on the whole world. He is a very dangerous man, and if you thought he was dangerous last time, when he actually was, I used to call him Scrotus, when he was POTUS, if you thought he was dangerous then and you saw what he did then, and I remember very well how I felt over here in France for that last few months between handover. I had no idea, well, none of us did we knew what would happen at the Capitol building on the 6th of January. But my fear was that this man, who was becoming more and more threatened, feeling more and more threatened, had got the nuclear codes. And I know friends of mine in America were really frightened about that. I was very frightened about that. So that was him back in 2016, wasn't it? No, he was elected in 2016, 2020. And then we saw what happened at the Capitol building, which is horrific to think that somebody that was the president, somebody that should be responsible, incited an awful riot, an awful uprising at the Capitol. That's the power. And was talking about, I'm not going to say it, but there was a noose there for Pence. So I'm not sure of Trump's words. I haven't looked at it again. We watched it as it was happening. I haven't looked at it again. But, he was suggesting that they go after Nancy Pelosi, that they go after Pence. And there was a noose. They'd made a noose for Pence. Take that in for a minute, because it's like how many years ago is it now? 2020, coming on for 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago. And now I feel that he's even more dangerous than he was then, which doesn't seem possible, does it? But if he was able to do that then, what's he able to do now? It's very, very frightening, and he's very, very dangerous. And it seems that the more people that stand up and say, no, he shouldn't be president, all the military people, many Republicans now saying, no, he's not fit to be president. All of those people standing up and saying that just makes him more and more angry, more and more resentful, and threatening. And he's so dangerous. I keep using that word, but he is so dangerous. And his intention, there's a bit that I've spoken about, that we heard some weeks ago when he was at a Christian, it was a Christian rally. I don't know whether it was a Christian rally, but he was talking to Christians and saying to them, I only need you to vote this one time. You don't need to worry after that, we'll fix it. And I heard that, mentioned it, thought, what the fuck? But alongside that, I think in that same piece of rhetoric, somebody asked him if he planned on being a dictator. And he said, only for one day. And that worries me on many levels. But there's a level of that worries me, in that when he says he's only going to be a dictator for one day, what are his plans on that day, so that on the next subsequent days he's not a dictator? Will he still be there? Will he have handed over power to somebody even more dangerous than him? I know this sounds like conspiracy theory now, but is he going to hand over America to Russia? Is he going to hand over the country to Putin? What does that mean? I'm only going to be a dictator for one day. I find that very frightening. I haven't followed that up. I might do that in a minute. I might do that. Pause you and do that now.
Under no circumstances, you are promising America tonight, you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Except
Look,
for?
he's going crazy. Except for day one.
Meaning?
I want to close the border, and I want to drill.
That's not retribution.
I'm gonna be, you know, he keeps, I love this guy. He says, you're not gonna be a dictator, are you? I said, no, other than day one. We're closing the border, and we're drilling. After that, I'm not a dictator.
So that sounds to me like you're going.
Not sure I can get away with that. That's the first time I've done that, played clips on here. So we'll see what happens, whether I can get away with doing that. So that's from the Wall Street Journal. So that clarifies it a little bit, what he means by being a dictator, although he didn't say that. It was a question asked by, is that Sean Hannity? Yeah, so I find that quite frightening. So my bubble is YouTube, Twitter, Meemaw's on. I talk about Meemaw's Unite a lot. And I'm just going to show you this though, first of all. I couldn't share this. Get rid of that. Make that easier to look at. I can't share this on my community posts, because if I share an infographic like that, I need to reduce it in size. I haven't worked out what size I need to reduce it to, so it cuts it off, which is really annoying. But it's an interesting infographic, and it's about narcissistic rage. So what's going on inwardly and outwardly, worrying. And so this is verywellmind.com. What is narcissistic rage? Oh, excuse me. Germany responded to, again, I need to make that smaller so I can get it on the screen. Germany is denying an assertion made by former President Donald Trump during the presidential debate on Tuesday about the country's renewable energy industry. You believe in things like, we're not going to frack, we're not going to take fossil fuel, we're not going to do things that are going to be strong, whether or you like it or not, Trump said. On Wednesday, Germany's Federal Foreign Office decided to issue a rebuttal, echoing the former president's language. Like it or not, Germany's energy system is fully operational with more than 50% renewals, the Federal Foreign Office shared on Twitter. And we're shutting down, not building, coal and nuclear parts. Coal will be off the grid by 2030 and 38 by the latest. The German Foreign Office also poked at Trump for another comment he made in the debate. P.S. We also don't eat cats and dogs. And on that theme, the cats and dogs theme, I had it here. Hold on. This poor guy has had to go out and make a statement about the death of his son. So this grieving family have been forced into the limelight to make a statement in Springfield, Ohio, to explain what happened to his son after, I don't know who it was that accused an immigrant of murdering the son. I think it might have been J.D. Vance.
We felt it would be in our best interest to be here after recent comments. You know, I wish that my son, Aiden Clark, was killed by a 60-year-old white man. I bet you never thought anyone would ever say something so blunt. But if that guy killed my 11-year-old son, the incessant group of hate-spewing people would leave us alone. The last thing that we need is to have the worst day of our lives violently and constantly shoved in our faces. But even that's not good enough for them. They take it one step further. They make it seem as though our wonderful Aiden appreciates your hate, that we should follow their hate. And look what you've done to us. We have to get up here and beg them to stop. Using Aiden as a political tool is, to say the least, reprehensible for any political purpose. And speaking of morally bankrupt, politicians, Bernie Moreno, Chip Roy, J.D. Vance, and Donald Trump, they have spoken my son's name and used his death for political gain. This needs to stop now.
I won't play any more of that because probably not meant to. But isn't that horrible? Isn't that awful? She is struggling to. She's just struggling. They're grieving. They've lost their son, and as he said, they've used his name for political gain. It's disgusting. So that's also in my bubble. Just going to show you a few of the memes that I see on Meme Wars Unite. So I'm just going to be scrolling and stopping. And the whole eating your pets thing has got so out of hand that people in Springfield, Ohio, are having to go and protect the Haitian immigrants. These are the people killing cats. That's also, I read that last night just before going to bed. Okay, listen up. The right wing here in the US want you to produce more babies to replace immigration workers. And they intend to get rid of your babies. They intend to get rid of your babies will be the new farm and fruit pickers and forced military. China has lifted their baby ban because they do not have a workforce and they need to fulfill future positions. Believe me, they have been planning this for a while in the US. I wouldn't put it past them, but and I should imagine there's an element of truth to that. But at the same time, there's a slight edge for me of conspiracy. You can look at that yourself on YouTube, the story behind they're eating the pets. I haven't looked at that. I haven't looked at any from this woman. I will have a look at her when I have time. They post videos of her quite a bit, so I'll have a look. She is very restrained. She does very well. There we go. The two Springfield, Ohio elementary schools being evacuated due to bomb threats from Trump supporters. Every newspaper front page and every newspaper editorial board should, tomorrow morning, call for J.D. Vance to step down from the race after the Ohio senator helped incite terror threats against two schools in his own state. Yeah, where's Melania? This has come up for me only in the yesterday. I've never heard of this Laura Loomer woman, but she's apparently incredibly right wing. If you thought Trump was scary, I think she's more scary. And where is Melania? I haven't looked at this. I haven't opened it and played it back. But I think Melania said something. Another 300,000 voters he's lost in Florida. So that's Memours. I'm going to pause you whilst I look at Twitter. So, Derek Guy is an elegant, witty writer on menswear and a decidedly liberal disposition. Laura Loomer is a deranged, conspiracy-obsessed white supremacist and proud Islamophobe who is presently causing a few wobbles in the Republican Party because of her increasing closeness to Donald. If this is true, we can't vouch for it naturally. It is delicious. I don't know what that means, but yeah, there's the woman that you need to be watching. Very scary.
Get this, they'll get this. And the president at the time invited the Taliban to Camp David, a place of storied significance for us as Americans, a place where we honor the importance of American diplomacy, where we invite and receive respected world leaders. And this former president
Now, the thing about these sort of videos is we don't know what time they were filmed. You know, was it 2 hours before he turned up? We can't know that. I love my supporters. They never ever do any research and believe everything I say and ignore my criminality and incompetence. So that's a short visit to my bubble. I'm going to have to go now. I'm cooking dinner, burning dinner if I'm not careful. That's happened before. Yeah, what's your bubble like? And are we seeing different things? Because I'm in France and you're in America, England, New Zealand, Canada, Australia, South Africa, Sweden. What's your bubble like? Do you see the same things I see? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you next time.